All right, now with our sex-linked Punnett squares, remember the most important thing is that you always have to put your X's and your Y's. It doesn't matter if you put the mom or the dad here or the mom or the dad here. But what I like to always do is just start by putting one of the parents on the top of the Punnett square and the other parent on the bottom, right? Because you have to carry the X and Y chromosomes through this. Now, the way that you indicate if the X chromosome is carrying the dominant or the recessive allele of the condition is with a superscript. So let's talk about color blindness right now, okay? So a big capital C would be what we call normal vision, because remember, color blindness with most of these other X-linked traits are recessive conditions. So a capital C would give you normal vision, where a lowercase c would give you the color blind condition, okay? So one of the most frequent ways that we will get colorblind or any condition that's X-linked in our offspring is when the dad possesses that trait, okay? So we're going to give him a little c, okay? And then just, you can see my little loopy loop there. So that's going to be a recessive condition. So this dad is colorblind. Okay, he is colorblind. And let's say mom is not colorblind. So she gets a capital C, so she gets a dominant allele, which is going to cover up the recessive allele. There's a little bit of a glare on that. Let me move that a little bit for you. Okay, so see, she is not colorblind because she is heterozygous for this condition. So we call her a carrier. She's carrying the recessive allele, but she doesn't actually demonstrate the trait. So she has normal vision. So now here's our offspring. Always bring down your X's and your Y's. So these are going to be the two daughters or potential daughters, and these are going to be where our two sons or potential sons could be. Remember, not everybody has 4 children. Not everybody has 2 girls and 2 boys. This is all probability. Okay, so now you just carry down your C's. So we have a big C and a little c for this box. We're going to put the big C first. Over here, we have 2 little C's. Here, dominant. Here, recessive. So in this example, your probabilities of a daughter who's colorblind are 50%. This daughter is colorblind because she is carrying both recessive alleles. This is very rare because in order for this to happen, dad has to be colorblind and mom has to be a carrier. She could be colorblind too, and then it's 100%. I'll show you that one later. Notice I also didn't put anything on the Y's because the Y does not carry the trait. So this daughter is colorblind, this daughter has normal vision, this son has normal vision, this son is colorblind. So overall, you would say there's a 50% chance of having a child who's colorblind, right? Because 2 of 4. If you were just asking about daughters, it would be 50% as well, just happens to be. If you were just asking about sons, it would be 50%. So you have to read the questions carefully. Sometimes we'll ask you overall probability, in which case you look at all 4. Sometimes we'll just ask you for daughters or just ask you for sons. Let's do another example. We'll stick with, actually, let's just do another one because it's easier with H's. So we'll do hemophilia. So a capital H is no hemophilia. A lowercase h is hemophilia. Remember, hemophilia is a blood clotting disorder. All right, so let's put mom back up here and let's put dad over here. We always put those there. Again, it doesn't matter. You could put dad here and mom here as long as you have one on each side. And so we're going to put our traits, superscripts on our X chromosomes only. So let's say dad does not have hemophilia. Okay, so he is without that condition. And we'll say mom doesn't have it either. But we'll say mom's a carrier. Okay, now when this happens, we don't generally know that this is going on. So women can walk around as carriers for these conditions and have no idea unless they've had some genetic testing or they've looked at their family trees because she's not hemophilic. She's not a hemophiliac. She has no idea without genetic screening that she carries this allele unless, again, she's looked at her family history or she has a child with it. So here's what happens. Here's the 2 daughters. Okay, in this case, this daughter inherits dominant alleles from both parents. She is not even a carrier, so she has no chance of passing on the hemophilia trait to any of her children ever. This son down here, also no hemophilia because he gets the X from mom, and that X happens to be the dominant one. Look what happens over here. This daughter gets the dominant allele from dad, but the recessive allele from mom, so she's just like mom, she's a carrier. She does not have hemophilia because this dominant covers up this recessive. Look at this boy over here. He's the hemophiliac. He is the hemophiliac. He's inherited his Y from his dad and the recessive on the X from mom. So he's going to have hemophilia. If we were to ask you a question, what percentage of offspring could have hemophilia? The answer is 25, 1 of 4. If I said what percentage of sons could have hemophilia, it'd be 50%, 1 of 2. What percentage of daughters? 0. Okay, so it really just depends on how we ask the question. Most important thing to remember is put your X's and your Y's on this Punnett square and write your alleles. Kind of back to regular Mendel stuff, capital and lowercase, but write your alleles as superscripts on the X only.